Okay, so maybe I've taken too much of a hardline stance on project bikes. I admit there is a time and a place to have a project motorcycle, and some of them are better than others. The biggest thing you need to make sure of is that you're spending more time riding than you are wrenching. And in that sense, I've picked out 7 of the best motorcycles that you should look for if you want to get your feet wet with a project bike, except there's one motorcycle that I'm not including, the SV650. Everyone and their mother has a project SV650 which they've built for adventure riding, track day riding, cruising, cafe racers, discount Euro snob rides, or just any kind of crazy Busa style build. Spending 5 minutes on Craigslist, you'll find dozens of SV650s, so I've picked the best alternatives for pretty much every style you could want. You can buy all these bikes for about the same price, or less if you got a nose for a deal, and all of them excel at what they do. Another bike you're not going to see on this list is the Sportster, because I figured you've heard enough of me waxing poetic about how awesome the Sportster is, and frankly, after doing the 1275 kit, I'm a bit sportied out. Before we get too far into this one though, remember, don't get in over your head. If you're working on a project, tap out before you break something. Just a word of wisdom from a guy who's broken a handful of things on his own bikes. DRZ. Sorry about that. But if you're working on a project motorcycle and you need some help, one of the best places to get some advice is actually the Yammie Noob Discord server. There's tons of folks out there who've built engines, converted track bikes, and bolted all sorts of crap to their bikes. But you can take it one step further. We've recently launched our meetup map, which is a way for you to schedule meetups with other Yam fans around the country and the world if you're the worldly type. You just need to head over to yammienoob.co, sign up, then enter a little bit of information about yourself. Where you are, what you ride, and then you feel free to use the server to reach out to folks or schedule it right there on the website. We're planning to schedule some meetups in 2021, so if you want to get in on that, click the link down below and get started. You'll also get access to exclusive live streams and entry to win our giveaway bikes at the same time. I'm not saying you're dumb for not doing it, but I'm also saying you probably should reconsider. Just click that link. You know you want to. Now, starting off our list with a surprise entry, given who's talking at you right now, but the Ninja 400 is probably one of the best beginner track bikes you could spend your hard-earned doubloons on and convert into a trustworthy track mule. But what about the RC390, I hear you ask? It's got the same engine from the Duke that you love so much, you continue. Well, when was the last time you heard someone mention the head gaskets on a Ninja 400 prone to melting? Yeah, not only is the Ninja 400 a great bike for the aspiring street rider, if it is a little long in the tooth, but as a track mule, you couldn't ask for a better bike. It's got a parallel twin engine, which means it's more rev happy than the RC390. It makes more power than an R3, and it's got that reliable Japanese build quality that you're going to be praising when, after spending its entire life at Redline, it still wakes up and just keeps going. Also, this is anecdotal, but when I was at the track when we shot the Ninja 400 versus RC390 video, I constantly heard Yam's RC popping out of gear all the way around the track. Now, admittedly, he whipped that bike like the redheaded stepchild of a rented mule, but that's what track riding is in general, if what I've heard is anything to go by. And from personal experience, the Ninja 400 is a simple motorcycle to work on. It's lightweight and has a thriving aftermarket full of track-specific mods to improve the bike. Heck, you could even go full bananas and get an Olin setup if you wanted, because who wouldn't want to dump half the bike's value into suspension, am I right? If you're thinking about getting a track-only motorcycle and building it yourself, don't. But if you're not going to listen to me, you might as well get a Ninja 400, although you're already not going to listen to me, so is there any point to me even saying that? You see, this is the existential infinite loop that I find myself in most weeks. Moving on, the DRZ 400S is the ultimate project bike if you want to make yourself an adventure bike. But why? Well, it's been around for almost 20 years and hasn't changed one little bit. It's just blue now. Seriously, you can slap on about any part from any DRZ from any year and have a pretty much copper bottom guarantee that it'll fit. But why would you even want to turn a DRZ into an adventure bike? Because it's actually really easy and way cheaper than something like the Tenere 700 and the KTM Duke 890, and it'll be lighter too. The DRZ 400 tips the scales at 317 pounds wet, which is porky by dirt bike standards and a featherweight by ADV standards. Not to mention that you can pop a massive rally tank, a new seat, taller bars, wider foot pegs, heated grips, a new windscreen, luggage racks, panniers, fuel cans, all on the bike for under $500 if you know where to look. Admittedly, you will have to surrender a little bit of your life to tuning jets and holding your breath every morning when you turn the bike over, but one thing's for sure, you really can't kill a DRZ 400's engine. That thing will run until the inevitable heat death of the universe. Now, if you're out there thinking that the little thumper that could might not be the best for a long highway cruise, it actually might surprise you. I've had my DRZ up into the mid-80s just cruising, and sure there wasn't much more on tap, but it didn't sound like it was gonna explode either. My advice here is to go with the S and not the Sumo, because the S will be better off-road, but pick the model that suits your needs best. They're basically the same bike at the end of the day. But how about something for the beard wax and flannel shirt wearing hipster who's looking for a bike that matches their Built-Well gringo and their new leather driver's gloves? Well, if you're looking for a project bike and you're a big ol' hipster, the best place for you is the Triumph Bonneville. Pretty much any one will do. I mean, they do make 1,000 of them, but the Speed Twin is the cheapest. And with the money you save, you can pick up a new pair of jeans that look like it's been in the bottom of a landfill for the better part of a half century. But what do I know about fashion? I'm just the guy who buys 5 pairs of the same jeans and 1,000 black t-shirts and hope no one notices. Obviously, you're going to try to turn this little Bonnie into a cafe racer because it's so old school and cool, and no one told you that the cafe racer craze pretty much died in the last few years. Don't worry that you're a little behind the times. You're just going to say it's ironic and laugh it off. But what about the bike? Well, the modern Bonnevilles have everything that you could want from a bike that looks like it was made in the 1960s, from a cradle frame and a long brat seat to the dual analog tach and speedo, but it does have fuel injection, liquid cooling, and modern reliability. If you want to make yourself a cafe racer but don't want to have to deal with all of the problems that entails, just pick up yourself this little bike and bolt stuff onto your heart's content. Number 4, we have something for the cruiser boys who want to dip their toes into the modding scene. And since I said at the beginning we're not going to be talking about the Sportster, I'll do the next best thing and talk about the Yamaha Bolt. All jokes aside, the Bolt is a better bike than the Sportster for a lot of reasons, and it comes with almost as robust of an aftermarket as the Sportster. If you want to make yourself a custom cruiser that won't vibrate your eyeballs loose and keep up with other modern cruisers, the Bolt might be right up your alley. It's styled just like a Sporty, it's got a classic V-twin grumble, and brand new, the Bolt runs you $7,999. You may need to get a little creative here and there with your build if you want to adapt some Sportster bolt-ons to your Yamaha, but it can be done. Does it have the same curb appeal and brand association as a Sportster? No, not even close. There's really only one genuine article, but if all you want to do is make a cool cruiser that you can actually enjoy, then this is the cheaper and smarter way to go. Just maybe don't roll up to any cruiser bars or they'll laugh at you. Now how about something for the Eurosimp out there? And yes, I did already include a Triumph, but Bonnie Bros don't hold a candle to the true Ducatista when it comes to how much of a snob they can be. So if you're looking to build your own mighty steed from which you can look down your nose at all the plebs on their big 4 Happy Meal toy bikes, or big oafish American cruisers, what bike should you choose? Why, the Ducati Monster, of course! The Monster has been the Ducatista's bike of choice to modify and customize since it was first released way back in 1993. Whether you want to scramble it, turn it into a cafe bike or a muscle bike or whatever your heart desires, the Monster was designed to be a blank canvas with which you can create your own kind of Ducati. You've actually got 2 routes you can go with this one. If you're a Ducatista at heart but with the wallet of a 2005 Gixxer Squid, you can hit the secondhand market and pick up any number of used Monsters from the past 30 years. Though God help you if you decide to purchase a carbureted Ducati. Those bikes have way more aftermarket support, and despite being complex Italian stallions, people really know their way around monsters at this point. You'll need some special tools and a lot of patience, but it can be done. Or if you want to just be an off-the-shelf kind of Ducatista, you can pick up the new Monster and hit the parts catalog and have Vinny at the dealership install your new plastics at $250 an hour. Your call. Number 6 is for the rider who's still a child deep down and wants to go goof around and do hood rat stuff with their friends, the Honda Grom. It's the silliest little bike you can buy, and it's been so widely embraced by the motorcycling world as that one bike everyone just does dumb stuff to. Stretch it, lower it, turbo it, put fat tires on it, put stunt bars on it, wrap it, whatever you want to do, someone will sell you a part for the Grom. Having spent a couple of months with our giveaway Groms, Bubba and Buttercup, I can say that when you're a wide open throttle, watching your speed decrease because there's a slight headwind, you learn not to take yourself so seriously and just have fun. The best part about the Grom is that it's the most basic engine on a motorcycle you could think of. A tiny little air-cooled 125cc single, so don't even bother with tuning it, just bolt dumb stuff and go for a ride. Number 7 is for the actual builders out there. The people who want to take a motorcycle everyone knows and make it something truly unique. The Honda CB750. Yeah, kind of an obvious choice, but the king of UJMs is the perfect project motorcycle because while they haven't made one of these bikes in decades, you can still find a vibrant aftermarket scene that will sell you anything you might need to finish your build. Not only that, but the knowledge base associated with this bike rivals the Encyclopedia Britannica. If you're thinking about chopping the frame and changing the geometry, someone can probably write a thesis on the best way to do that with the CB750. You will have to deal with 4 carburetors, but just go talk to any boomer out there. I'm sure they know how to resync them because they probably had this bike at one point back in the day. Just if I may offer one piece of advice, don't do the whole open header thing. I see a ton of CB750s around Austin with open headers and it makes me want to dig out my eardrums with a rusty fork. Yes, mufflers can be hard to find, but you're a builder, right? You'll make it work. Fact. Copper doorknobs are self-disinfecting. As it turns out, copper and brass can actually sterilize itself from bacteria that might build up from random people touching it with their grubby little fingies. Goodbye.
So my sweet little squid, this video is actually over, but lucky for you, click on this one right here. You can keep watching your sweet Papa Yam, delivering you the motorcycle content you've come to know and love. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll be here waiting for you. You're gonna click on that video.